what did I say about Kirk Cousins? It was the whole team's dependent on a guy named Kirk Cousins, and I just don't think he's never going to take them there. He's never going to get them to that point where they can win an NFC Championship game.
Hello, and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. Today, we got Justin and Chad, and we're
What's
going
up?
over
What is
where
up?
we were right and where we were wrong, and also some surprises in the NFL.
So let's get the show on the road here. How about the start? We could start off here at the NFC East. So I'm gonna go ahead and mention I thought the Cowboys looked good in the regular season. Guess what? They look good so far in the regular season.
Now they look really good.
Yeah, just dominant on defense.
Kind of scary.
Mike McCarthy's doing some wonders with that offense.
Yep, but of course the same questions still lie. Will they choke in the playoffs again? I still think they will, but
probably
for the regular season, I'm feeling pretty good about picking them as a surprise division winner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they're up there. I mean, it's only 2 games in. There's a lot of season left. But the Cowboys are a good team. They're kind of scary to look on. I mean, defensively, I don't think I've seen a team that scary in a long time. I think Legion of Boom was the most recent one that was like the Cowboys defense, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah. And I think my biggest question for them is how long can Dak stay healthy? And if he stays healthy, how productive can he be? So far, he's been very productive. So,
yeah, I mean, can Micah Parsons actually possibly be in the conversation for MVP? Like, I think he could probably do it this year.
Possibly.
First defensive player to win it in however long. But Cowboys look damn good. Surprised me a little bit, but
how about the Commanders though? I think they've been the ones that are surprising. Wild dogs! Bring me the wild hogs!
Their defense doesn't surprise me at all. They've been building that defense for years. It's the offense that surprises me. Sam Howell, he's got it going on. And then Brian Robinson back and ready to go. He looks good. And then Scary Terry, he's doing his thing.
Yeah, Brian Robinson's been kind of the engine that's helped this offense find its rhythm here early on. I've been pretty surprised by how he's been playing. I thought it'd be a split backfield with no one really doing anything, but Robinson's been pretty good so far. The offensive line still needs to shore up the pass protection. Getting sacked 6 times against the Cardinals is not going to be good for the future. Do you guys think this is bound to continue, or do you think they're going to eventually fall off?
I think they'll taper off. I don't think they're going to fall off. I think they're going to just be lingering right there. Kind of like how they were 4th last year and barely missed the playoffs. I think they can kind of keep it going, but everything relies on play calling and Sam Howell.
Yeah, Beasley's kind of finding his form.
I really think they're kind of like a sneaky team. I think they'll like linger around till the end of the season, like you were saying. And I think they'll be in the conversation the whole year, and then maybe fall off at the end, or maybe they're lucky enough and they actually get a wild card or something like that. You know, crazy if they win the division. They're in it. I mean,
oh yeah,
they're
very new owner, and then they make the playoffs. Like that would be so huge for that franchise.
And Snyder was the problem the whole time.
Yeah.
Now
everybody's feeling good.
A team that we thought was going to linger around the playoffs, but probably won't. The Giants. They stink.
Their offensive line is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it's like hard to put a finger on what they're going to do each week, you know?
Well, they're probably going to lose the next few games because Saquon's out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, losing Saquon is not going to help matters.
Unless Daniel Jones just does like QB sneaks every play or QB draws up the middle and gets like 30 yards randomly.
Or Matt Breida can carry the load that Saquon does, but I don't see that happening.
No,
I don't.
They would probably have to sign Leonard Fournette if they want any kind of production from running backs.
Yeah. But moving on to how about the NFC South? I mean, this is just a surprise alone. The Panthers, they're 0-2, but have only lost to NFC South teams. So this division has not had any losses outside of it. And we thought this division was going to stink.
I mean, yeah. Quarterback play for the 3 undefeated teams has been pretty good. Derek Carr does Derek Carr things. He shoots himself in the foot, but luckily that defense bailed him out the last game.
Yeah. What about Baker Mayfield, guys?
He's playing good.
Baker Mayfield.
Good.
When's the switch though? When does he go? But change his alter ego.
5 or 6 games.
When does the mustache and the trench coat come out?
5 or 6 games into the season, he'll just go on a stretch where it's like, well, there he is.
I mean, you never know though. Maybe they won't go crazy and suddenly have him pass 70 times of a torn shoulder this time.
And I think all of us had mentioned that the Falcons were our surprise team this year, out of that division at least. And look at them; they're at the top of the division. Desmond Ridder looks pretty good, but he looks a little hesitant on deep balls. So, kind of interesting to see how that plays out.
I think Robinson's the biggest difference on that team.
100%.
And let me mention, you guys did mention you thought they would be decent, but guess what? I was the only one that was bold enough to pick them to win the division, and they look every bit as good as I thought they would. Their run scheme is very good. Now, you mentioned Desmond Ridder in the passing game. Their passing scheme could use some work. They might want to start actually targeting their talented passing weapons like Drake London and Kyle Pitts. But if they could do that, they could be pretty dangerous. But I mean, the run game already makes them dangerous. And that defense is flying around so far.
Yeah. So them getting Jesse Bates was huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the Panthers just stink. Their defense is pretty good, but JC Horn being out, it hurts. And looked like Shaq Thompson had a pretty bad leg injury.
He's done for the year, unfortunately.
Is he? I didn't see if
whole lot of injuries, guys. Whole lot of injuries.
Yeah,
it's a turf monster. You got to go back to grass.
They're not going
injuries. Injuries have been an unfortunate theme this year. Moving on to the NFC North here. The Packers.
I just want to start with the Green Bay Packers real quick. I just want to say how sorry I am that I was wrong, guys. I was so wrong. The Packers have surprised me. They're coming out here. They're slinging the ball. They're looking like the Packers of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Same old thing.
Jordan Love looks like Brett Rodgers or Aaron Favre. Like he's just balling right now.
Can we talk about what's in the water in the Green Bay's front office that they can just get all these quarterbacks in a row?
Yeah, it's truly impressive.
If he continues playing like he's playing,
yeah,
they have hit gold 3 times in a row.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
And let's not forget the defense is playing good too. That was my reason for optimism around the Packers during the offseason, was that the defense is going to be good, and so far the defense is helping them out a lot.
But I saw Aaron Jones on the sideline getting taped up a couple of times, so that'll be something to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was out the last game, so AJ Dillon currently has the lead there. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them, but if Jones can get back soon, that will keep them going.
And then the Lions, I mean, they were the brand new Lions in week 1, and then week 2 they were the same old Lions.
Yeah, some things don't ever change, you know.
I'll tell you what,
Jekyll and Hyde.
I think they're gonna have those ups and downs.
Week 1, I was in a Lions bar at Denver for this one, and it was electric. Everyone was excited. They were like, "This is the brand new Lions. We're a new squad."
In Denver,
yeah, because Denver's a transplant city, so they got a bar for like every team.
Wow.
But yeah, everyone was excited, and then week 2 came around, and when Goff threw that pick 6, it was like, oh no.
They need to get Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit more involved in the offense.
It's very interesting their usage of him so far. They seem.
I think the offense is going to change once Jameson Williams comes back.
Yeah,
yeah.
He'll add an electric speed element that they don't have currently.
Yeah. And then kind of a surprise to me, the Vikings are owned too.
Yeah,
I thought those were a couple of games that they could have won.
I told you guys. I said what did I say about Kirk Cousins? It was the whole team's dependent on a guy named Kirk Cousins, and I just don't think he's never going to take them there. He's never going to get them to that point where they can win an NFC Championship game. I don't. He's not going to do that.
And
Well,
they're not
no
winning the
surprise
close
to
games
me.
anymore.
No surprise to me though that the Bears are just absolutely terrible.
I'm
Well,
sad.
said about the Bears, the better. We better move to the West.
No, hold on. I
I'm
gotta say
sad
something
about the
the
Bears, guys.
Justin Fields is throwing his coaches under the bus, and then their defensive coordinator just abruptly resigns. And there's rumors on the internet that the FBI is involved. Like this is starting to become a mess.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of mismanagement going on with that team. I don't think they're playing into like the type of player they've drafted. I don't think they're giving them the best schemes to win games. And
Yeah, and Eddie Jackson looks absolutely terrible.
I mean, these guys
He's a complete liability on defense.
all pros. I mean, you can say whatever you will. Justin Fields isn't playing that great, but I mean, he's carrying that team to whatever. I mean, against Green Bay, what was the final score? It was like Green Bay went on a crazy
38-14, I think.
I think they had 20 points. I'm pretty sure. I remember thinking Chicago still put up 20 points on them. You know, I don't know. I just think
They do need to just release him as a runner at this point and just see what happens. Like try to build the offense around that because that's about the only option you have.
and you do like
Clearly, he's not comfortable as a pocket passer.
Yeah, we can move on to the West.
they're like the NFC Browns.
Yeah.
If there's a team in the NFL that's going to run away and be like the complete dominant team compared to everyone else this year, it could be the San Francisco 49ers. They look great so far.
It's scary.
I don't think there's anybody that could stop. They very well could get very close to being undefeated this season.
So many offensive weapons. I'm sure, like, Brandon Ayuk is hurt right now. So, like, injuries will probably play their toll. They probably won't be able to win all the games, but they're very much looking in contention for a number one seed at the moment.
Yeah.
But the
Rams were a surprise.
Finding contributions from a lot of random guys, like Kyron Williams is becoming a star, Puka Nacua, like they're finding contributions from all these random guys, and it's helping go right now.
They just traded Cam Akers to the Vikings, so it's Kyron Williams in that backfield.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he absolutely is the top guy.
And McVay kicking the field goal at the end of the game against the 49ers to beat the spread.
I know there
was a lot of pissed off degenerate gamblers out there.
Oh, I'm glad I stayed away from that one.
Yeah, same.
The
same
Seahawks,
old Geno in Seattle. I don't think it was necessarily his fault. Defense really didn't play that well either.
Yeah. I mean, good rebound in week 2, week 1, they lost to the Rams, but overall, McVay has had a pretty good record against Pete Carroll, so I guess we shouldn't have been surprised by that. But yeah, week 2 is a good rebound against the Lions. The Seahawks still appear to be one of those teams that's going to be around the playoff race.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's too early in the season to really tell anything, but I really think the Seahawks are going to be okay. Pete Carroll's a really good coach. He'll get them back on track.
Yeah.
They're 1-1. It's only 2 games in. I mean, anything can happen at this point. They could go on and never lose another game. Yeah. To me, they've just been like blah. They're just nothing really. They're pretty straightforward. Kenneth Walker's killing it. I know. I have him on my fantasy team. He's killing it for me.
They just signed what's his name, the left tackle. Can't remember his name right now, but
Jason Peters went?
Something.
Yeah, Jason Peters. They signed him, so once he gets acclimated with the offense, they may have a little bit of blocking going on, so they could hit their stride coming soon.
Hopefully Geno gets back into MVP form because he really hasn't looked that great either.
No, but huge surprise to me, and they are 0-2. The Cardinals actually played 2 really good games.
They've been competitive.
Yeah, I mean Josh Dobbs, he may be up for MVP.
I don't know about that, but let's calm down in that one. But I mean, they're staying competitive. They kind of let both games slip away, but maybe when you're in this point of your rebuild, you want that to happen.
Yeah. You want to look good in games, but tank for Caleb.
Yeah, you get your quarterback. You
Or
get
Marvin Harrison.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Both
we can
of
move
them.
on to the AFC. That's enough Cardinals talk. We have like one Cardinals fan that commented.
Oh,
Actually, I don't think nobody watched our Cardinals video. That was really hilarious.
That was one of the few that did not do well.
Yeah.
cares about the part.
No. Switching over to the AFC East, the Dolphins might be legit.
Yeah.
Mike
Yeah.
McDaniel is a fantastic head coach.
I mean,
Yeah, and
and
it seems like everyone
he
forgot
outruns
that.
cameramen.
and like, imagine if they were to actually have gotten Jonathan Taylor or like a premier back like that, and how much further this offense would be. You
I
know,
don't know. Mostert looked really good the other night.
looking
Looked
great.
pretty fresh. Yeah.
But imagine if they had like a guy like that though. It'd be crazy.
I don't know if they have the money.
They were kicking the tires on it, but
They were the
but yeah, I mean, obviously we're still worried about Tua's health, but he did take jujitsu this offseason to learn how to fall.
He's ready.
So
Just don't be a Ryan Clark and start bashing Tua. He will call you out in press conferences.
But no, he's been playing very well. Absolutely torched the Chargers in week 1. Was solid against Patriots in week 2. They got great receivers. The defense has been better than expected.
I just need Tua to throw it to Jalen Waddle more. That's the only thing I want to see more out of them.
I think a lot of people want to see that.
Hopefully he's healthy. I know he left the game with like a elbow or something weird.
Yeah, something like that.
But the Jets are doomed for a top pick next year.
Yeah.
But good news is they don't have to give up a first round pick. They give up a second round pick. So for Aaron Rodgers. So up to their defense at this point, because Zach Wilson's not going to do it.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers thinks he's still coming back this season, okay? The man's going to come back if he says he's going to come back.
Hey, Shefty said that he'd be back in time for the Super Bowl.
Hey, get him there. Zach Wilson gets you to the Super Bowl. Are you going to play Aaron Rodgers if he's healthy? Or are you going to keep playing Zach Wilson?
I would play.
Let's be honest, Zach Wilson's not going to get them to the Super Bowl.
Hey, Zach Wilson beat the Bills.
The Bills, how many? I mean, they finally fixed it last week or whatever, but we'll see. I mean, how many times are you going to try to force freaking deep shots, even though they're not there? Everyone in the NFL is trying to stop those. Oh my!
On wide receivers for Aaron Rodgers, you're going to use them when Aaron Rodgers isn't there. Still paying them.
Yeah.
Well, we can move on to the Bills. I mean, they lost to the Jets, so we can move on to the Patriots.
Yeah, no, I already covered my thoughts on the Bills there. How many deep shots are you going to force?
I think the Bills will be fine. I think at this point, I was wrong about the Jets only because Aaron Rodgers' injury. I would flip flop the Dolphins and Jets on my preseason rankings. I mean, I literally almost did that, but I still think the Bills are gonna have their late season run where they just come out of nowhere, win a bunch of games, and get back to the top. But the Patriots surprisingly look better.
Yeah. I would say they're one of the teams that are 0-2 that we actually feel quite optimistic about. I mean, they played the Eagles and Dolphins. How many teams are going to be winless against those two? A lot. Yeah, they look competent. They're not great, but they look competent on offense. They finally have a defensive coordinator calling plays.
Yeah. But
their defense is always going to be good. To Bill Belichick.
In the AFC South, the possible worst division in football, haven't seen a whole lot of Jaguars games, but I still think they're going to win the division. I mean, the Titans are making a case, but
that was a weird low scoring game with Jaguars and Chiefs. Like, I don't know, Jacksonville's offense hasn't been as good as we thought. Like, I already started hearing calls that people are thinking that Doug Peterson needs to take over calling plays. So that'll be something to monitor. That could be a downfall for the Jaguars this year.
Calvin Ridley's looked pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Calvin
They
They
Ridley,
just
looked
have to get
awesome
the
in
other
week one.
receivers involved.
yeah, I mean it's exciting. Not to keep making fancy football references, but God, I'm trying to trade for him so bad.
Well, don't air it out. I mean, now they know you're trying to trade for
Not
him.
gonna happen. They're not gonna trade him to me. I've barked up that tree for a while. Yeah, no, I think Jacksonville's. I mean, they're 1-1, but I mean, I think they're a good team.
A lot of people are going to lose to the Chiefs this season. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
And that was like you said, was a really weird scoring game. I think a lot of mental errors, little things they can work on and get better on. You know,
absolutely.
One player that has surprised me is Anthony Richardson. I
And-
figured he'd be good, but he's been electric. And then with him being in concussion protocol, we'll see if he plays the next couple of weeks. But if he can keep doing what he was doing the first 2 weeks, their record may be trash, but he could end up with Rookie of the Year.
he's
And-
out there right now, right?
Yeah,
he's in concussion protocol, so
yeah. So he could still come back this week.
and this is being aired on a Wednesday, so by the time this video comes out, he could be
Cleared and playing.
yeah, they could clear him, but we won't know before the posting of the video.
Yeah. But the Colts overall, they're competent.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor is going to have to come back for them, so he has to prove his worth for another team.
Yeah.
So he's going to come back hungry, just winning his own stats,
Or he just never.
to look good. Yeah, but that won't be a very good negotiation tactic for a big contract.
Not at all. The Titans.
CJ Stroud looked pretty good this past week. 384 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Looking good, man. I think the Texans made the right choice.
They've got some good young players on a team that's still kind of in progress. They'll just look to keep showing strides as the year goes on.
I think going to be involved more.
Absolutely.
A lot more. And John Mechie got his first reception. 1 reception, 17 yards. He played this last week.
That's good to see.
Not get a
Shout out
touchdown.
John Mechie.
No.
He didn't get a touchdown.
No.
I want to see him get a touchdown. That would be a hell of a story.
Be a good one.
Moving on to the AFC North. I mean, I don't think anybody. I shouldn't say anybody. I have seen a lot of mocks with the Ravens down below the Steelers and Bengals in the division, but a lot of people predicted the Ravens to have a good season. They're on track to continue that.
Why do I feel like this AFC North looks the exact same it does after week 2, like the last 3 years? Always starts out with the Ravens looking awesome, the Bengals looking bad. By the end
Bengals
of the
have
year,
never played well at the beginning of the season, though.
Yeah.
Chad Johnson said that on Shannon Sharp's podcast the other day.
Yeah, the Bengals just always seem to start slow, while the Ravens are the opposite. They start fast and they end struggling.
Part of that is Lamar's injuries, but
yeah.
Dobbins. I mean,
well, yeah, in injuries overall, like Dobbins is already hurt. Humphrey, I think, is already hurt. Like
Odell is going to have lingering leg issues.
What's their center's name?
Lindenbaum.
He's hurt as well.
Yeah. I mean, their players just fall like flies every single season, and this is with the strength and conditioning coach who was just fired, already gone, and they
had an F grade on him.
Yeah.
Steelers. I still don't have any faith in the Steelers. The only faith that I have is TJ Watt may set the sack record this year. He's on pace for 34.5 sacks.
Again, if he stays healthy,
Yeah. Matt Canada seems to be rooting that offense. Probably another 9 season for the Steelers.
Dan Orlovsky pointed out it is not Matt Canada. He's scheming wide receivers open. Kenny Pickett's just not seeing them.
Could be that too, but yeah, they look like their usual 9-8 pretty much.
Yeah.
I like that what's his name? Calvin Austin.
Yeah, he had sure hands in that game against the Browns.
Yeah.
Looking good. And I mean, obviously Pickens is looking good. It sucks that Deontay Johnson's down and if that's going to hurt them in the long run. Hopefully, he can get back onto the field. But I think the Steelers, AFC North is a division where everybody's in the mix until the very end. Usually, maybe there's one team at the bottom. Cough, cough. Browns. Cough, cough. But usually they're in the mix until the very end, and I can see the Steelers hanging around there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Deshaun Watson, speaking of the Browns, Deshaun Watson looked terrible.
Bad
both
touch.
games.
Bad touch Brown.
If they do anything, it's going to be because of their defense.
I feel bad for Nick Chubb, man. That was
that's awesome. Terrible injury. Kareem Hunt's probably going to end up having a good season, though.
I'm going to air a grievance real quick, okay? Last year, okay, I want to say it was whatever week it was. It was the week the Bengals and Bills played, right? DeMar Hamlin goes down on the field. We watch it. There's replays. It goes a whopper, triple whopper, right? It goes that. But Nick Chubb blows out his knee, and they're like, "Oh, it's too graphic. We can't air this. We're not going to show it on TV." Come on, show us the knee, man. Don't make us wait a whole day to look it up online.
It was pretty. It was at a pretty bad angle.
I mean, what about what was his name? Ish Smith or whatever at Louisville when he broke his leg on the court?
Oh yeah, I don't know why ESPN decided that was the most interesting thing in the world. He had a
showed it.
No, it was Kevin Ware for Louisville. His
How did you
bone was sticking out of his leg. It was Kevin Ware.
Yeah, Kevin Ware.
And then there's Willis McGahee. What about him when he in the national championship game? I mean, it's all the same thing. When he was in college, he had the same injury. They aired it.
Yeah, they pick and choose who they want to show, but
yeah.
Moving on to the Bengals, I think they're going to be okay. The calf strain for Joe Burrow does worry me a little bit, but I don't think it's really going to affect a whole lot. I think they're going to get back on track. Jamar Chase is going to start ramping up in yards here.
I think you got to create a narrative if you're media, honestly. And
yeah.
I think that his calf strained. Oh, the Bengals are 0-2. Well, the Bengals are 0-2 every year, right?
Like, yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow's 1-7 in the first 2 weeks of the season in his career. So, like, I mean, there's no need to panic as a Bengals fan.
And honestly, I'm tired. I'm sick of people saying, like, Joe Burrow didn't practice in the preseason, and that's why they have a slow start. No, Joe Burrow didn't practice in the preseason because he strained his calf. They might have a slow start because they didn't play too much together, but I think a lot of the blame on their slow start needs to be on the coaching staff. I think they
terrible play calling.
Terrible, awful. You got 3rd and 1 and you're running a pitch. It's like just go attack the line of scrimmage, get that 1 yard.
Or just go play action and just throw like a flat route.
Yeah, I mean, but just look at the Eagles. What do? They're not hiding it. They're not doing anything different. They're lining up. They're putting a fullback, a tight end, a running back right behind the quarterback, and they're coming right up the middle at you. I mean,
absolutely.
Every time they don't miss on 3rd down.
And I've seen some teams in college now. They took it another level. They took the biggest guy on their team, stuck him behind the quarterback, and just went
right up the middle. They'll probably eventually make a rule against that where you can't like carry your runner or something like that.
Yeah, that's being talked about. We can move on to the AFC West though.
Okay.
Raiders just got blown out by the Bills, so that kind of proved that the week 1 win for the Raiders was kind of a fluke.
Every dog
because I was in Denver at the time, so I saw a lot of that game. I really don't know how the Broncos lost to the Raiders in that game. Like, I don't know if I just wasn't paying good enough attention, but it felt like the Broncos were the better team. The Raiders aren't good. We didn't think they were good. They're not.
I have zero faith in Josh McDaniels. Like, at this point, I'm kind of rooting for him to get fired, go back to New England, and just live his days out until Bill Belichick retires, and then run that franchise into the ground.
Bring him. I mean, at this point,
what
would you even bring him back to New England at this point? I wouldn't.
Every time he's been
they seem to like
fired,
coordinator.
They absolutely love him as a coordinator. Yeah. I think he's a good coordinator, but like, there's a lot of administration that goes into being a head coach. and he's not good at the administration part.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are fine. They had a lot of injuries. Chris Jones holding out week 1.
Give this weapons though, for real.
I mean,
they can't even afford Chris Jones on a franchise tag next year. So they can't. They're gonna have to let him walk and then just keep doing cheap receivers.
hey, they keep figuring it out though. Like, I mean, they make stuff happen with these receivers. Now, Kadarius Toney was absolutely terrible in week 1, so I don't know if it's gonna be him, but these young guys, Sky Moore and all of them will probably step up as the year goes on. It feels like it always happens that way.
Justin, right?
Justin Ross, yeah, give him the ball.
Oh yeah. I can't forget about him. Their defense is already playing good though. That's kind of scary because usually their defense is not good through most of the year, and then week 13 and beyond, once we get towards the playoffs is when their defense starts playing better. But I mean, they're already playing good.
Yeah. Chargers are the same old Chargers. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot.
And they're just blaming each other. There's like, you did it. No, you did it. He did it.
Yeah, they're a mess.
I think Brandon Staley gets fired. I think Kellen Moore gets upgraded to head coach, and I think he doesn't figure it out either. I think the Chargers franchise is just destined to be the same thing they've been for 60, 70 years, however long they've been around.
Can change their identity, start over again.
Yeah. Broncos may be one of the better 0-2
teams. Away good quarterback time.
Broncos may be one of the better 0-2 teams out there. Russell Wilson actually looks pretty good. They got a few calls that didn't go their way in the first couple of weeks, but I don't know.
They
Broncos may be a surprise.
Figure out winning. Which is kind of weird with Sean Payton as head coach. I didn't think that was going to be the problem they would have, but I mean, the second halves have not been as good as the first halves. I mean, they led 21-3. There's no way you're supposed to lose that game, especially to the Commanders. You can't do that. Lots to figure out. I think they're going to be kind of dangerous late in the year, but they might be too far behind to make a playoff run.
There's a lot of people on that team that I think are really great players, and it's kind of weird to see that they're 0-2 still, but like they have players like Javonte Williams that everybody thought was not going to. Javonte Williams wasn't going to be there the first couple of weeks, but he's ready. He's playing, and poor Samaje Perine left a Super Bowl contender to play backup on a different team, on a losing team.
Yeah,
for the same price.
Yeah.
The challenge is neither one of them are. They're both struggling too. Like,
that offensive line's kind of struggling too.
Yeah.
And Russ is the only reason why they've been in the games, and that's weird to say after watching him last year.
He can't keep any of his options healthy. I mean, obviously KJ Hamler, that's unfortunate what's going on with him, but he's not going to be there. I don't think he may not come back. But Jerry Jeudy being hurt, Cortland Sutton's always on the questionable line, and then you look at like we said, the running backs, like Javonte Williams is back, but is he fully back? Is he?
It doesn't feel that way so far.
I mean, could he get hurt again? Maybe.
I mean, Randy Gregory on the defensive side looks really good. They got Patrick Surtain, they got Justin Simmons. Like, they got some guys on the defense that have been holding their weight. But I think their problem is interior defensive line and offensive line.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, their secondary isn't playing great either. Like, outside of Surtain, like, it seems like you've been able to find gaps in their coverage. And Surtain does not follow the top receiver around either.
Yeah, he just sticks to his side of the field.
They're gonna have to do some. They're gonna have to get draft a couple players. I think they could be in conversation the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one injury on the Chiefs, and then they could just take the division. Like that. That's all they need. But running out of time. Any last thoughts?
Well, you mentioned these power rankings here, and we can kind of look at this real quick here. Yeah, they obviously already are a little too excited about the Cowboys. I wouldn't put them number one ahead of the 49ers at all.
Yeah,
Um,
even the Eagles. I don't know. I
I
think
wouldn't put
it's
the Dolphins ahead of the Eagles, but I would probably put the Cowboys ahead of the 49ers just because the point differential and how good their offense has been and how dominant their defense has been.
Also, how are the Bears not last?
I mean, PFT has their issues, but I think because of how bad the Cardinals were projected, I don't know how the Bears only fell one spot. I would definitely put them behind the Texans.
I think it's shocking to see like the Vikings at 25, the Bengals at 21, Titans at 20. All this is going to change in a couple weeks, but it's just kind of wild to see them certain places. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, no,
I do want to say the Vikings though. I'm really impressed with how Ivan Pace has played. Um,
Yeah.
from UC, I think he's playing phenomenally. In conversation for defensive rookie of the year, and I think that I love that they brought in Brian Flores as their defensive coordinator. Right, I think their defense looks way better than it has in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
agreed.
we are really close to getting cut off here. So, any last thoughts?
I'm just curious to see how things unfold here. Kind of jumping in with some overreactions. 2 weeks in, but it'll be fun to see how this journey continues throughout the rest of this long NFL season.
Green Bay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Enjoy your cheese.
Yeah, we all apologize to you, Green Bay, but
I was not wrong. I had them in second place in that division.
shut up, Justin.
Yeah, we're in this together.
Give us a like, give us a subscribe, tell your friends about us. We do our
Help
best.
put our day jobs.
Yeah, help us quit our day jobs. Let us do this full time so we can give you better content. That is it. We'll see you next time. See you guys.
See ya.